It's week 6 here at the Muni Lot Report.
Yeah.
And yes, I am your host, Nabil Habib, here with the genius, the creator, the editor, Mike Lewis.
Did you get a haircut?
Yes, I did.
Oh, nice.
Fresh,
Fresh, dude.
fresh.
Yeah.
Thank you, West Park.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, how about that?
Oh,
Who did you
dope.
get cut by?
Well, so my guy actually moved over to the one in North Homestead.
Oh, okay.
But I used to go to the one in West Park, and then he moved over.
Okay.
Shout out to Etzel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jason.
Nice. All
That's
right.
Sean's cousin, by the way.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool.
All right. Yes, it is week 6. Cardinals week.
Yeah.
Played the best team in the league.
On paper.
On paper, yes.
I mean, with
Well,
with
and the record.
Well, that's what I'm saying. On paper, 5-0. We'll see what happens right now. They have a couple injuries, a couple COVID. People on the COVID list. So we'll see how that plays out.
Exactly.
Mainly defensive players. Big thing that came out of Arizona was weirdly Zach Ertz is now a Cardinal. Announced today. Got traded. He played last night with the Eagles. And he's a Cardinal now. So interesting. He's not going to play, obviously.
He's
but
not eligible until
Yeah.
about week 7, week 8.
still interesting of a trade to see.
Yeah, they just lost their starting tight end in Max Williams, so they brought in a veteran to fill in.
Well, it's just interesting to see that he literally played last night. And
Yeah.
now he's, you know what I mean? And he's like the one that he basically was like the main target last night for Jalen Hurts. And now, like, I was like, he's playing really well. And then literally the next morning I woke up and I'm like, oh, okay, he's gone now.
Can you imagine if he was eligible to play Sunday too? He's playing 2 games in 1 week.
That'd be
Fantasy
exhausting.
owners would love that.
Dude, yeah. I have him too, so shit.
Fuck.
Go for it.
Well, the Browns have a tall task once again this week. Coming off a tough loss where, they were almost damn near perfect on the offensive side of the ball. In what world do you score 42 points and go over 500 yards offensively with 0 turnovers and still manage to lose the game? I don't know. And it can really come down to 2 or 3 drives, penalties.
It really came down to 2 deep balls to Williams that was not covered in the slightest.
Yeah.
There's clearly some miscommunication going on there in their secondary. I haven't went back and looked, but I mean, to have someone that deep downfield and no one by him, it looked like it was Randy Moss with like the Patriots, where there's 0 people by him and he's just open and Brady just lofts it to him. That's why it felt where there was just no one covering, and that's 2 scores, and everyone on their offense played really well, but not good enough to think that should have beat us, even with our defense kind of struggling. There was a ton of injuries, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that was a total winnable game. Same thing with the Chiefs game, total winnable game that just literally just slipped by us.
It was more than winnable. It was in our hands, and we just didn't pull through. And it's hard to say that we have Super Bowl hopes with a team that can't win close games like this against other good teams.
Which gets me nervous for the Ravens and this game.
Exactly.
But also it's annoying. It's like that when we got the ball back with 2 minutes left, up a score.
It's I mean you're only up a point with 3 minutes left. You got the best rush offense in the league. I feel like Coach Stefanski's definitely owned up to it, but the play calling was horrendous on that drive. That it's definitely a head scratcher. Where okay, ideally you want to run the ball there, but the real play that really drove me crazy was the second play. And it was a pass out of an empty set where you're not even trying to show that you're going to go play action or even give a thought of running the ball. They decided to try to throw the ball down 15 yards downfield and try to make a play there. Okay, you didn't make the play. That's fine. But you go ahead and run the ball again on 3rd down. Like you just gave up on the drive. Like, okay, if you're going to pass on second, why don't you run it on 3rd? And I feel like a lot of Browns fans right now are feeling that way about that particular drive because it was very dumb. It was
all we had to do was run the clock out. We needed to get first downs and run the clock. I mean, it was simple as that. The play calling really disrupted that. There was no flow to that drive. There was nothing for it, and something that they should be preparing for. And I think they obviously had prepared for this scenario, but like it was executed so poorly. I mean, the rhythm and how they called the plays made little to no sense.
Right. I would have been more satisfied if they ran every three, the whole entire three. Or even, if you did pass it, why don't you go play action where they at least think you're going to run the ball? You didn't show any of that. And I feel like that was, that drive that really took away the momentum from the Browns. You watch any other football game that comes down to a play like that where they missed the extra point with 3 minutes left. It doesn't matter if they got the best rush offense in the league. Most teams are going to take that 3 minutes, get the first down, and win the game.
100%. If Aaron Rodgers, all he needs is 36 seconds.
Right. It was definitely painful. It's a play that a series of plays that just didn't make sense, and it makes it hurt even more that you could have won the game if you did this the right way. The loss of the great Nick Chubb, key aspect to our offense.
Which is a big issue, is that Nick Chubb will be out this week. As we talked about before we started rolling, is Baker's getting way too much shit and does not deserve it. I mean, I get the criticism. I get it. But, watch the game, man. Watch the game.
It just seems like all the critique is from people that don't watch the game, or they just got problems with Browns quarterbacks and they haven't seen a quarterback this good in a while. Honestly, I just got to say, if you don't like Baker, you're just dumb. And I don't care about your opinion. The dude's the best quarterback we've had since Bernie Kosar. In fact, not better than Bernie Kosar. I mean, he threads needles. He's playing hurt right now. And he still went for 305 yards, missed on about 5 or 6 passes, had a completion rating starting the season at 70%. He was at 70% again this week. And he had a QBR rating at 144.6, which is like an elite level rating. To put this game on him is just absurd. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. The difference in this game is the defense making a couple plays, a stop here and there. Even 2 stops wins them this game. But to put this on Baker Mayfield is just plain out dumb. The guy comes out there every week, gives his all. He had one bad game, but you know what? He had a bad game, but 0 turnovers. He didn't lose us the game. It's plain facts. Like, if you watch football, an interception can kill a game. But he has not thrown an interception since week 2. So, moving on from the offense, we're going to, hop over to the defensive side of the ball here. Very poorish defensive performance. We did deal with a lot of injuries, losing Jadeveon Clowney, right before the game started. Denzel Ward did not get many reps. He was probably out within the first quarter. You had to go down to the undrafted free agent and AJ Green, who I think played a pretty solid game, even though he went up against Mike Williams, who's one of the better receivers in the league. He's undersized in that matchup, but for the most part, I think he played a very good game. He got completely, screwed on that pass interference call,
which I lost us the game. That was terrible.
To give up a 4th and 7 on the 20.
We've all seen the picture now, though.
On their 20-yard line.
Oh, it's crazy.
It is one of the most absurd calls I've ever seen.
I feel like refs would get worse and worse every year. I don't know what it is.
it was just horrible. I think some refs need to be fined for blowing that bad of calls. I hate to sit there and blame a loss on penalties, but there was like a couple penalties that completely changed the momentum, killed drives. You know, that penalty, if it goes our way or it doesn't get called, I feel like we wrap up the game. You know, you're gonna go and score a touchdown at that point.
Yeah.
But that flips it. That's a 14-point flip basically.
Yeah. Easy.
You know, if you put up 3 points, you win the game on that drive. You stop them from scoring, and you know it was a real big momentum killer for the Browns. Another penalty that just absolutely drive me nuts was the holding penalty on J.C. Tretter. Baker scrambled out and went out to the left side of the field and picked up like 5 yards. And from a perspective of a former offensive lineman, it was the most horrible call I've ever seen. It was hands to the face by the defensive tackle. I mean, J.C. Tretter basically didn't have his helmet on all the way, and he had him squared up. He had his hands perfectly placed, and they had the balls to call offensive holding on that, and that brought us back and forced us to punt on the drive we needed to kill time on the clock. And it was just a drive killer that late in the game, and it was like, you need to let these guys play. And it just seemed like, you know, the Chargers were getting away with everything. You go back and watch film on Myles Garrett, this dude was getting held every other play. It's just, there's no excuse for it. The Browns have no excuse, you know. Their defense played like shit. But you're not supposed to put the game into the hands of other people, like the refs. And I think that's where, you know, you gotta have reality check in there. Like, okay, we could have played a better game where these penalties shouldn't have mattered. Which, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, think about the Chiefs game last year. It took me a month
to get over to that penalty.
Yeah, no, seriously. So, no, I feel it. But I think going into this game with Chandler Jones, I mean, he's going to be out, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's only on the COVID list since
Tuesday. He was supposed to test negative by yesterday.
Interesting.
There's nothing out yet. I could be wrong.
I haven't seen anything as of yet. But I think that's going to be obviously a big factor.
Jadeveon Clowney believes that he's going to play on Sunday as well.
Which is honestly a big factor that we missed out this past week. And I think this past week really showed you how much Clowney is such a key X factor in this
on the pass rush, stopping the run.
I mean, think about the side where Eckler ran down for that long stretch. Yeah. Imagine if we had Clowney there. On his side, where he usually's at, that's the side they ran to.
Right, without
opposite Miles.
Without Clowney, it kind of makes our defensive line a little predictable, and I think that's what was happening in this game. Like, you know, you weren't seeing those many looks where they're lining two deep. You know, Clowney and Garrett on one side, or Clowney and McKinley on one side, bringing all three of them. They didn't have that threat this week, and I think that made a big difference.
Well, I think it makes a huge difference if Clowney does play, because, I mean, look who we're going against.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyler Murray is he's such an athlete on his feet, man. He can run and scramble anywhere. I mean, I feel like the dude does not get sacked. So I think it will be really interesting to see.
Which brings us to one of our favorite segments.
Our only segment.
Our Cowtails. Key players to the game.
I gotta do like an animation.
Yeah,
I gotta come out with something, man.
Yes, Jadeveon Clowney, you get a cowtail this week.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna be a key player, and I say that because being able to stop the run and contain a mobile quarterback like the dangerous Kyler Murray is gonna be huge this week.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't contain Kyler Murray, you're gonna have a hard time beating this team. He is the sole, he's the key to this offense. Without Kyler Murray, I really don't think you have much of an offense.
Well,
I mean, they have DeAndre Hopkins, but
we're talking about cornerbacks. I'm super excited that people are going to be back and healthy because that is going to be an issue.
Exactly.
Big issue.
But Kyler Murray makes it happen. He's having an MVP-like season. You know, he's really came into his own. He's got a hell of an arm. He can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arm. You just got to keep him contained and not let him make the big throws. You got to bring the pressure.
I really hope he doesn't just jam it down the throats. Yeah. Because that's like a reverse cowtail of the week that we don't want to have.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be an issue. I think he's going to make plays no matter what. I just think we just need to limit those big plays. I mean, I think he will make them, but the more times we can just limit those or limit some yards, I think would be ideal.
I think Connie is really the set piece for this defense where, you know, he's better at making those reads in the backfield where they can just let Miles go out and play. Just bringing the different looks to this defensive line is going to be, you know, an upgrade from last week, and it's going to be nice to have them back.
I think it's going to be a big issue. Is like they have depth, as much depth. I think we have more depth in our receiving room, but I mean they're pretty deep, man. They have AJ Green playing as kind of like that Landry kind of feel right now, and he's looking pretty good. Not great, but he makes a lot of really key plays. And also Kirk has been really playing
Christian
really well.
Kirk,
yeah.
And the rookie Rondell Moore has been a stud for them.
That's what I'm saying, man. So our secondary is going to have. If last week didn't put it to the test,
going against the number one passing quarterback in the league, he's got the best QBR rating. I mean, enough can't be said about DeAndre Hopkins. Like,
I pick him every year for fantasy.
He's the best receiver in the league. It really comes down to him and Devontae Adams. It's basically what your preference is. You know, they're the two best, and I can't even give the upper hand to either of them. But
the only thing I'll say is I haven't seen Adams with another quarterback. So I think that might, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you saw him with another quarterback, say any other person, say like Garoppolo, and he still makes, amazing catches. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we currently
DeAndre's had double-digit quarterbacks, and I think he's at I think it's like 30 touchdowns or something. He just broke a record or set a career high or something.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal player. I'm a big fan of him.
When I play Madden, I pick him up.
DeAndre Hopkins,
he's on my Browns team.
You got to shut him down. You know, with the performance of the secondary last week, they need to really show up.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's gonna be real difficult. I think that's a big thing, and I think if I was gonna throw a cowtail out here, to be honest with you, I think it's John Johnson. We need to see, because I think he's going to be a big factor in this game. John Johnson, cowtail to you, bud.
Cowtails.
I think they haven't been really using him to what he's good at, and I think I'd like to see it switch, because I think he's not put in the place that he should be, and I think John Johnson is such a key factor of this defense that has not been utilized properly. So I think this week, I really hope to break that mold, because if he does, and if the play calls, go in his favor, I think he's gonna be a huge factor this week, especially gonna be down the stretch.
I completely agree with you. This past week they actually had John Johnson do the play calling for the defense, where Anthony Walker was that guy. Not completely sure why they turned into John Johnson. Maybe it's because the absence of
I don't know if it's the absence. I just think it's
Anthony Walker.
I just think he's not playing to what we thought he'd play like.
Maybe John Johnson was seeing the field a little bit better, and Anthony Walker wasn't ready to really be out there that much. I can't answer that question. There's not enough out there for me to answer that question. But, you know, maybe we see the play calling back to Anthony Walker this week and kind of just let John Johnson play. I don't know if that was holding them back or vice versa. They just got this whole entire defense has got to step it up this week.
Sorry.
And my final cowtail of the week, and we're going to go back to the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to give it to an unsung hero of this team. He hasn't really played this much this year, but when he was given the opportunity last year when Nick Chubb got hurt, I see him getting, you know, more touches this week. And it's good old Dearness Johnson.
Dearness.
He had a couple of games where
Cowboys game.
Well, the Cowboys game where he went over for 100 yards. Against the Colts, he had a key run to seal the game. You know, he's a reliable player. You can bring him out of the backfield. I feel like you're going to see a lot of a blend between him and Demetric Felton. A lot of those guys this week with the absence of Nick Chubb.
Which I think I say every week, man. I think Felton, we need to see a little bit more of him.
Yeah. You know, it's just like when you see Demetric Felton out there, he's doing a lot of the same things every week. I mean, that dude literally runs a lap before the play even starts.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of motion, but then you don't really see much of him after that. You know, he runs a lot of stuff in the flat, but that's really about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to see him, you know, open up. You know, I feel like when Landry was out, that was a perfect opportunity to open up the playbook for Demetric Felton, where you could have put him in a slot where I think he's more comfortable.
Yeah, when we talked about that, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
You know, they're missing that you know, that playmaker from the slot,
that bruiser,
right? Which I think would have been a perfect, you know, place for them to put Odell Beckham. I feel like Baker likes throwing it across the middle of the field. He doesn't really look to the outside all so much.
Which I think is another big, actually, I didn't think about it until you said that right now, but it makes a lot of sense. We do see a lot more, you know, in the center of the field and rather than out, and that's what Odell plays. And it's
right.
I think it's just like an unfortunate kind of thing, but right. I mean, you gotta.
And it's not. I think what a lot of people are not seeing on the field, like watching it TV program wise, is like Odell's open. He's open most of the time. But by the time he's open, the ball's already out. And, you know, like Baker's got a quick release. He's usually looking for that check down or, you know, somebody that's open right away.
Unlike Tom Brady, who sits in the pocket
right
for long periods of time. Because, like, if you watch the game yesterday, he sat in the pocket for, I mean, way longer than most of the quarterbacks do. But then you find Antonio Brown, you know, for a touchdown, 40-yard pass. It's how it works. I mean, he holds onto the ball longer. People make plays.
Right.
Downfield, Baker throws the ball quick.
Right. It's not necessarily that Baker needs to hold on to the ball that long. I mean, even an extra 2
But if he did, I mean, he'd find Odell a lot more.
Extra 2 seconds, okay, you might have Odell, you know, wide open for the taking. And I think that's where the big problem is the timing between those two. The route combinations they have Odell running, you know, in this offense, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, you're asking Baker to throw the ball 30 yards downfield just to get Odell the ball. I mean, you want him to take the top off the offense, but he's also your best playmaker. And, you know, not getting him the ball is, you know, you're kind of making him useless at that point.
Do you think putting someone else in that role, like kind of switching him, not to a number 2 role, but something a little bit more of the shorter routes and slants?
Right. See, I don't think of receivers as number 1s and number 2s because in my eyes they're all kind of, you know, it's more like a platoon
I got you. I mean, kind of like Higgins kind of does like things, and
Higgins can kind of.
Peoples-Jones kind of, they all kind of mesh around. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I think it more of outside and inside.
But when you think about a number one receiver, that's what you think about.
Because if you want to say number one receiver, your number one receiver is Jarvis Landry. But where does he play?
Facts.
He plays in the inside.
Yeah, a lot.
Where that's your best playmaker. I feel like you can have Anthony Schwartz or Peoples-Jones out on the outside where they can take the top off the offense and be that threat.
But no one's, like, planning around them.
No. But that's what we want. Peoples-Jones has the potential to take the top off and be that next great receiver for this team. I mean, he's made plays every week every time they've asked him to, he goes out there and makes a play. He's a hell of a blocker, and you want to see more of him, as well as Rashard Higgins, where whenever you need him, he is there.
Consistently.
Always.
Somehow he's always open.
He's always there to bail out Baker when you need him to.
Give him to get a Higgins jersey.
Yeah, Higgins is probably the next jersey I want to get.
I've been a big fan of him for years now, and just to have him consistently. Because I remember when they cut him, I was like, damn, dude. I was like, that's like one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, but we just want to see a little more of Odell this week. You gotta give him the opportunity to make the play. Letting him loose on all the way down the field's a good idea, but it's not the greatest idea. And I feel like where he could be the most effective is when you let him get the ball in a short area. Get him, dump it all 5 yards deep and let him go make a play. That's what he's here for. That's why you pay him the money. So, I feel like that's where a lot of the criticism comes from.
Yeah.
And it's not, they're just going to say, oh, it's Baker and Odell can't get along or this and that.
Yeah, Odell's on the trading block again. It's
yeah. He's on the trading block every day of the week,
Literally.
He has a bad game, he's on the trading block right away. Oh, here we are. Yes, we play the Big Red and the Arizona Cardinals.
The Big Red Birds.
Yeah, the Big Red Birds. They come to Cleveland, 4 o'clock this week. But I do feel a lot better about this week than last week. And that's why I'm going to ride with the Browns in this game, taking them 27-24. It's going to be a close game, but we're 3-point favorites. I like us against Arizona. They have the 32nd ranked rush defense in the league. We need to take advantage of that.
Especially with Chandler Jones being out this
without
week.
Chandler Jones,
That's huge.
They're in the middle of the pack when it comes to rushing the quarterback. They're not very great at it. Their secondary is very good. But if you're able to pound the ball down their throats, I feel like you can seal the deal. Let Kareem Hunt take the game to them. And that's why I'm riding with the Brownies this week.
Cool, awesome. I'm going to kind of be the same, man. I think the Browns have a really good opportunity here to shut a lot of people up. And I think this is the kind of the perfect week to do it. I think, hopefully, everyone will be back healthy outside of Nick Chubb. And I think our defense is going to play a better game than they did last week. I think they obviously went back and watched a lot of film and get ready for this week and analyzing last week. So I think our secondary hopefully can really step up and kind of take these guys out and or at least cover them. And I think having Clowney, just tracking down Kyler Murray, I think that's going to be a huge factor. I think that's something that I can't wait to see. So I think the Browns are going to win this as well. Not by much. I think it's going to be very close, really tough game. So I think it's going to get ugly again. I said it last week. It's going to get ugly. I think it's going to get ugly. But I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be 33-30. So I think it's going to be really tough, really close. But I think we're going to pull off. So that's my prediction.
And
thanks for watching.
Please, Cowtails, subscribe, share. and we want you to sponsor us.
Cocktails.
We're advertising you for free.
For free, man.
Just because we like cowtails. We're doing this for you.
I haven't had a cocktail in years.
And yes. Why don't you just kill the sales pitch here? Yes. Thank you once again for watching week 6 of the Muni Lot Report. Go Browns, go.
Tune in next week for week 7.
Fuck the Broncos.
I'm going to that game.
Fuck John Elway.
Yeah, I'm going to the next two games.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh too?
Pittsburgh, Halloween.
Damn.
Dope.